All right. Well, this is yet another example of how your mental health can directly affect your aquariums. So I got some explaining to do. I have ran into a few problems with this aquascape, and I just want to talk about moving forward because I want new, if that makes sense for any of you guys. Okay, let's start with what happened. I got cyanobacteria, and I've had cyanobacteria before. It's like my 20th time getting it. And I'm not exactly sure why, but this time particularly, it it was relentless. I used half I used half a bottle of blue-green slime removal. I'm pretty sure it's erythromycin when I was doing research, but I treated about 11 or 12 times at this point, and if you look up there, which you guys don't need to see what's going on in there, it's still blue-green. Great. Blue-green slime also somehow led to the death of Power. And I hated that. It was almost unnoticed with everything else going on in my life, but one day Power just disappeared, and I found her, and I got rid of her as best as I could. But we can't let this get us down. I'm doing this for how long now? So I'm planning on moving forward. This tragedy happened, and I kind of just want to move on from freshwater aquascaping, aquariums, CO2, all that complications. I want something new. So to start off on an easier note, I would like to rip this one down, clean it all up, and do a little terrarium, do a little wabikusa, a little immersed aquatic plant action, something I love to do, something you guys have seen in the other builds, similar to the pitcher plant terrarium. That one's doing awesome. I need to show you guys that. That'll be a video coming up soon. I have a good plan for here. And a secret. One sec. Not a secret anymore, because this, I'm going to keep it on my face because of focus, or I'll just fix it. This is a jewel orchid. And if you guys know or don't know what jewel orchids are, they're a different kind of orchid, not the ones you see at your flower shop. And they're absolutely gorgeous. I'll put macro footage in later, but if you guys could just see the colors and the sparkles of these little channels throughout the leaves. I want to use this as a centerpiece to that terrarium, and I'm going to do a bunch of fun stuff. So first things first, I got to clean everything. Let's get started. Now that we're cleaning the tank, I just wanted to talk about the future. I have no aquariums at this point, and a bunch of glass, a big tank, a long tank, a small tank, an even smaller tank. I got a couple jars. I want to make a bunch of stuff in them. And I have a bunch of terrariums. I want to keep doing the carnivorous plants, and I want to get into saltwater aquariums, because I do want to keep fish keeping, and I do want to continue my pain inducing. Apparently saltwater is more excruciating, but less like water changes and stuff, so I'm kind of excited to get into something like that. I'm going to use that 22 gallon long for the saltwater tank. It's going to take a while for me to get it up and running. I have to get a bunch of equipment, some lights, power heads, etc., rocks, corals. So it's going to be a journey. I'm going to keep updating you guys on what I accumulate over time before we actually get started. And then when that time comes, you guys will for sure know what's going on, because you'll see me with a reef tank. What's going on, everybody? We are done cleaning the 5-gallon. You see it right there? Crystal clear, all ready. Lid's clean, everything's clean. I'm not gonna hardscape today. Surprise. It won't be in the thumbnail or description either. So that was just what you heard 2 seconds ago. But I am gonna talk about what this project's gonna end up being, because I gotta point out. So we have our jewel orchid right here, which I'm gonna throw in B-roll right now. Because it's absolutely beautiful, and the veins in the leaves look like electricity. Plants shouldn't be doing things like that. Then again, I saw a plant the other day at the store, and it was glowing purple like a item that you pick up in a video game. We'll get there. So in this tank, we're gonna do the jewel orchid as a centerpiece, right? And I have Icelandic lava rock from one of my old builds that I really want to reuse because I didn't really get to enjoy that last project. And I'm going to put about this much water in the terrarium to keep it humid, and I want to use a mister, like an atomizer. I don't know exactly what they're called, but you put them in the water and they create like a fog above the water. Not like a mist that would be there to mist the plants on top, but more of like a fog that'll stay over like a bog environment, something like that. I think it's absolutely awesome looking. Adds another layer of detail. And this way I get to enjoy a little immersed action. I think that's really cool to look at. In my first aquascape ever, my first high-tech aquascape ever, I had this immersed section, and it was like my favorite thing. I had Monte Carlo, and when I do water changes, all the Monte Carlo would be out of the water, and some of the wood, and some of the Rotel in the back. And I kind of want to recreate something like that, a little less maintenance. Obviously, we're all for the fish tanks, the freshwater fish tanks, because weekly water changes are not it. I'm going to hook a auto top-off system to this. This way I don't even have to top off the water all the time. I just fill my bucket up and it does it by itself. And I think that'll be a lot less maintenance for me. It'll set me up to have a lot less stuff to do in between the salt water coming up in the future. I think that's great. I realized having more than one tank with my life, it's like way too much. And I don't really want to deal with doing water changes on freshwater aquariums. I heard saltwater aquariums, you don't tend to do water changes every week. Maybe. I've heard people doing that, but people say like you can get away with a month or 3 weeks or whatever your system requires, because everyone has different system, different tank size, some canister filter, etc., etc. But we're gonna get into that in the future. I'm definitely gonna work on my plant list for what's going in here, because I want to refine it a little bit and make sure I'm getting plants that look cool growing in an immersed environment. And yeah, you guys should stay tuned for the following videos coming up, because I have these iotas. I have 2 Aquaworks iotas that the projects inside are on their way out, and I want to redo them just for you guys. And I also have to do an update on the Bograrium. That guy right there, it's all blurry, I don't really care right now, but you'll see it. I'm gonna do a trim, I'm going to clean the glass and stuff, make sure you guys know what's going on, and I'm gonna show you how to take care of your carnivorous plants inside of a Bograrium. I have so much excitement because that grew in so well, and I think you guys are gonna be pleased with how it turned out. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble, and stay tuned for the next Rescue video. Thank you.